Hello everyone, good morning, and welcome back to Shelly's Plant-Based Delights. I am Chef Shelly, and this is another episode of Daily Nugget. Before getting into the discussion for today, I would like to take a few moments once again to inform you that Shelly's Plant-Based Delights is a cooking school that offers health education services and health and cooking classes. I am a chef. I am not a medical doctor, nor anyone's primary care physician. Shelly's Plant-Based Delights is not a substitute for anyone's medical doctor or primary care physician. I always advise anyone listening to this podcast, before taking any advice or utilizing any services, please consult with your medical doctor or your primary care physician, or whoever takes care of your medical needs. So, today's topic is a very serious topic. Are you happy? Are you having happy thoughts? Are you okay? Are you really okay? Or are you just saying you're okay? Many times we're asked, how are you doing? And we respond, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm doing good. But deep down inside, we're not. So, after this brief message from our sponsor, we're going to get into this very serious topic for today. Welcome back. So today, we're talking about mental health. Mental health is becoming a serious issue in the world today. Mental health is important at every stage of development in life, from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. Mental illness is the leading cause of disability. If untreated, it can cause severe emotional, behavioral, and physical health problems. Mental health doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care how old or how young you are, or whether you're male or female. So what is this thing we call mental health? Mental health or mental illness is defined as being associated with a wide range of mental health conditions or disorders that can affect your mood, thinking, and behavior. Some examples of mental illness include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addictive behaviors. Mental health concerns are normal, but it can become a serious problem when ongoing signs and symptoms frequently affect one's ability to function. This can cause major problems in one's everyday life. For example, school, relationships, family situations, or simply just your job. Symptoms can vary, such as feeling sad or down, confused, the inability to concentrate, withdrawing oneself from friends and family, suicidal thinking, just the inability to cope with daily problems, or just not being able to deal with stress. Mental illness can be caused by a variety of factors, such as inherited traits, which includes things like genetics or bloodline traits passed down in your family, environmental exposures before birth, such as situations like a mother using drugs or taking alcohol while her child is in the womb, or exposures to environmental stressors, or simply just brain chemistry. Some risk factors associated with mental illness include something in the bloodline, meaning in your family history, stressful situations like a job, finances, going through a divorce, or a death of a loved one. Then you have chronic health conditions, brain damage because of a serious traumatic brain injury, such as you fall and you hit your head, or someone hits you in the head. And then you have traumatic experiences, drugs and alcohol use, child abuse or neglect, having very little friends or healthy relationships, or a previous mental health situation. Did you know 1 in 5 adults has a mental illness in any given year? In the U.S. alone, it affects tens of millions of people each year, and half of these individuals don't receive treatment. That's 51.5 million people. Of this number in 2019, it affected those who were 18 years of age or older, and 20.6 were adults. Mental illness is usually higher in females than males, with 24.5% being female and 16.3% being males. Compared to adults, rates are higher in the younger generation. 18 to 25-year-olds had 29.4% mental illness compared to adults aged 26 to 49, and 14.1% are older, 50 years of age or older. It's estimated that 8.1% of Americans ages 20 and over had depression in any given 2-week period from 2013 to 2016. Anxiety and depression rates for children are on the rise. A recent Pew study reported that 70% of teens said anxiety and depression are major problems among their peers. In a survey called the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 28% of children from New Hampshire stated they felt sad or hopeless almost every day for at least 2 weeks in the past year. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States for all ages. Every day, approximately 123 Americans die by suicide. 1 death happens in the U.S. every 12 minutes by suicide. Depression affects 20 to 25% of Americans 18 years of age and older in a given year. Suicide takes the life of over 44,965 Americans each year. There is 1 suicide for every estimated 25 suicide attempts. So I want to talk about this issue with young people. Why are there higher rates with the younger generation compared to adults? Well, today these young people have so much to contend with. There's so much peer pressure, there's bullying, and then coming from homes where there's dysfunctional situations going on. I think we all come from homes that are in some way dysfunctional. And as you go from home to home, the dysfunction varies. I know I grew up in a dysfunctional home situation. But I also know that these young people today, they're going through some situations that I've never even faced or never even heard of. So these young people today have so much to contend with. So, with all these mental health issues going on, one would ask, what in the world can we do? Well, spiritually speaking, we're told that a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. Sometimes just seeing a situation other than the way we perceive it to be does wonders for us mentally. How our mind perceives things can have a negative effect on us, not just mentally, but physically as well. When it comes to this health issue, we tend to focus so much on diet or the physical aspects, but we forget about the mental part of it. It's a lifestyle. It's a whole package. Physical, mental, and spiritual. Not just health and diet. We are not always aware of how our mind can affect our health. Chemicals are released in our bodies, and when we're happy and when we have happy thoughts. And the same happens when we have thoughts and emotions that are not so happy, and this can cause problems. Many diseases or simple illnesses are caused in our minds. It all starts in our minds. It's unfortunate that many people feel like they have no one to go to, no one who will listen when they are going through various situations. Many individuals don't talk because of fear of being talked about, misunderstood, or the fear of being labeled. Many resort to suicide because of these very same things. But today, let's be encouraged. Maybe having a positive outlook might not solve all problems, but it's a start. I've been told in many of my own situations going through life's trials, various situations that come my way, that things don't always stay the same. And as hard as it may sound, or as hard as it may be to believe, this is true for all of us. Things don't stay the same. Today you may have mountains all around you, but tomorrow you could have sunshine. One day it rains, and the next day is sunny. Sometimes in one day it rains, and then all of a sudden it's sunny. Nothing stays the same. Maybe you may not be a believer in God or spiritual things, and so you may not realize you can always turn to God and prayer. If this is your situation, regardless, believe it or not, I am sure that there is someone that many can find that they can confide in. It's important to find someone we can honestly talk with. You don't have to open your whole life story, but even the Bible says we are our brother's keeper, and sometimes I think we forget this. If we don't have a friend or someone close to us, there's always reaching out to a professional counselor. Not too long ago, I had a situation I've been struggling with for years by myself, until finally I broke down and I spoke to a friend who I felt was trustworthy. I felt like a load of bricks had been lifted off my shoulder. Sometimes this can help you move forward in seeing situations for what they really are and not what you perceive. And all these situations we have going on here right now in the U.S., but not just in the U.S., but all over the world, basically. There's a serious increase in mental health issues, especially during this pandemic COVID situation. So I just want to encourage everyone today. Situations don't last forever. If you feel like you can't cope with it, with whatever it is that's going on, seek help. Don't try to think you are Superwoman or Superman, so to speak. You know, we can get caught up in that trap of people saying things to us like, man, you're so strong. You can do this. You can get through this. Don't get caught up into that trap. Seek help. You can't always handle everything on your own. I know that's what we're taught, but you can't. Again, you're not Superwoman. You're not Superman, so to speak. There's help if we reach out and seek it. Again, I'm not saying to go tell any and everyone your issues. You have to know and be led to someone that can be trusted. Because the truth is that everyone can't be trusted. And this is a problem, and that's a sad situation. I also think those in the Christian community need to also be encouraged to speak more on this issue, plaguing individuals that lead to mental health. We need to be willing to deal with issues in a manner that reflects Christ and not run away from those issues and hide them under a carpet, because we live in a world with real human beings that have real issues, and they are desperately seeking help. People are hurting. And these issues are reflected in behaviors that are out in the open or behaviors that could be behind closed doors. So I hope this episode of Daily Nugget helps us to think more about these issues and how we can do our part to resolve it. This is essential, especially for the children and the young people. Thank you once again for joining me for another episode of Daily Nugget. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to Shelly's Plant-Based Delights Cooking School. Like and follow on Instagram as well as Facebook, and learn about the courses we offer. Also, become a monthly supporter of this podcast by clicking on the support tab, as this helps keep this podcast going as well as supports Shelly's Plant-Based Delights Cooking School. Tune in on Wednesday for culinary conversations and the chance to win a gift certificate. And Health Alert Live on Sundays for exciting and informative interviews. And send us a message to be featured on the show. Until then, remember, make healthy choices for eternity.